It's one of those things that when you realize how little you know,
Yeah.
no.
I've treated bees in the past, but it's been a long minute. I finally got allergy tested, so I would know if I like would die. I went to a colony.
I got allergy tested by.
Yeah, about right.
I got stung so many times. I just,
I made it through life without getting stung, and
Oh,
I think
really?
it makes me more paranoid now.
I have absolutely been just mauled by bees, over the years, and part of it is we have this sweet little old man,
Really?
that's kind of the bee man in the
Yeah.
mountain home. And he comes out without a veil and without he wears nothing and he's standing.
They make you feel like stupid for putting
Yeah.
protective clothing on.
You've lived this long, and stupid, and then he
Nice colony.
literally dropped the frame, and I'm like, my bees are pretty mean, and he's like, right. Of course, they're all over and all like, oh, we're both gonna die, we're gonna die. Never got stung once while they was there. And then, of course, another time they got up inside the little building and just ate me. And of course, the worst thing is you're absolutely fine until the first bee decides they're not having it. When the first one zaps you and releases that pheromone, you're hosed. You're done. Because if you've got 15 bees close enough to sting you, they'll all get you.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was doing zoo medicine, that's what I did the honeybee stuff. It makes sense.
How you doing?
I haven't done any sense. I haven't had any requests to it, but
I've never been around.
I
don't
have a few
advertise
calls
either.
here and there. No, I don't, but just because it's more trouble and it's more of a service than it
Hey,
is.
Ben.
it really, it's like
What's
the
up?
bird medicine.
Magazine?
It's like
Right, that's a new issue.
you're treating
Just came out yesterday.
1,000 bees.
Working John,
What's that? Oh, yeah,
good.
yeah.
You got one in here?
He does, yeah.
What did you talk about this time?
Oh, it's on there, yeah, but it's the recording.
Yeah, it is fun part trying to figure out, because you don't want to be the guy that submitted the third article about
I know.
get your health papers in
Yeah.
order or get.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like,
I
I
know.
told, Sarah Henry, I'm like, hey, look, if I got something, and she,
Yeah.
so what I'll probably do is send her like 5 different, and then you pick and choose.
That's what
goes in
yeah,
your
what I've
magazine.
done, you bet. Yeah, fix them that or
That's
something.
what I should do.
I'll get them.
I need.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I'll start the recording for you if you let me know when you get started, and then I'll still have.
Okay.
And then, okay.
Ready? I'll go
Get some lunch?
get some lunch.
Yeah.
Get going here. We've got 28 minutes until, Bill and Dr. Throne and.
Doing this at
Nice.
12:30?
Yeah, they didn't want to come in just to watch us eat.
Oh, so you're gonna be.
Yes.
I see how it is.
I'm gonna
Or
work.
if we wanna just start recording while we eat, that's fine. I just need to get in.
I just, yeah,
Well, be quiet.
I just
That's
did.
right.
Well, are we gonna start the meeting or we're gonna wait till 12:30 to start the meeting?
I told them that we would eat first and then they said,
Okay.
can we come in at 12:30? I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's just start the recording at
And
12:30.
we don't have a whole lot to do. Really dive off into.
So you want me to record at 12:30?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be right back then.
I just have this visual of someone coming back to like watch the video. It's just an hour. of it.
I am not a power walker, so that is not about that. Alright, I'll be back.
Oh.
At 12:30, so.
Yeah, we're gonna get something to eat if y'all hadn't already.
Yeah, we
Y'all
have,
ate?
we have food.
Go get you,
Yeah,
it's
we
a box
ordered-
lunch?
Yeah.
Okay,
we
we'll
ordered
get you a box.
several, so,
Cool.
cause I thought that, well, Dr. Throne said she was coming down. And, then she backed out of coming, so we have that.
So is she gonna be online
Yeah.
as well? You got an extra agenda?
Yes, sir. Where do you think all? How you going?
So we're starting at 12:30.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the craziest thing is, it sounds like all the ERs, like the biggest, we've had like a run on black cats and
Yeah.
abdominal masses.
Had 3 heart-based tumors in 7 days.
I have one shot. I have one shot, yeah.
Wow. That's a new one.
Ain't crazy have stuff like that.
Like it's your trilogy.
Yeah.
But I'm like, don't, I don't wanna see another bad x-ray.
Right.
And
I've
you
got
stick the
3.
ultrasound probe on and you're like,
Mm.
wait, this is my 3, so I can go another several months and not see more.
Yeah. We just line up the black cats.
Mhm.
And then,
We've seen a
It
lot.
is
yeah,
almost Halloween, so.
Mhm.
and then, yeah.
Yeah, here's this picture. We got this thing there, lightly in the hive. And then they insert this,
ripping it.
they actually do a little insertion. Yes. Up the oviduct. Well, maybe.
What are you doing?
I went to, at the AVMA, that Monday, I did a full CE on honeybee medicine. So we went to the USDA, research in Beltsdale, and it was the honeybee lab.
Mm,
It was a big
Cool.
so it was, identification of diseases and go through all the labs and have the little initial station. They get, it's continuation of that USDA certification. But, in the lab, they talk about how in the United States, there's just a very low genetic pool
Mhm.
of the types of bees, which is predisposes to diseases.
Mm.
But, there they do AI with bees.
whoa.
That's
That
gonna be
was
the
cool.
smallest camera ever.
Well, here's the setup.
I need to go see that because I have a neighbor I need to one up, so she's a bee geneticist.
Go back a couple.
So he's always trying to explain to me all the different breeds of bees and all the things of bees, and I'm like, huh?
It's always fascinated me, because I grew up with honeybees, so. But they put the queen upside down and she's actually lightly anesthetized at the bottom.
What did they use to anesthetize her?
Yeah.
I think it was a cotton soap.
Bravo.
Cotton soap ISO.
Huh. Yeah, that would have been my guess, a SIBO cotton ball or something.
She pulsates at the end, and then as she
Oh, I
pulls it
see that.
in, the needle goes in and they insert it up her oviduct and inject the semen.
That's crazy. So,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, and the goal is to get her pregnant by a different drone or a different
Correct.
strain of.
Yeah, they've got a certain line of queens and a certain line of.
Well, somebody injected all mine with the mean gene, and that's, I have bees that produce honey and wax like crazy, but they overgrow the hives so fast that they'll literally, the minute they feel like they've got, they're crowded, they'll swarm.
Yeah.
And then, so I'd better be there like literally on the spot to corral them, or I'm gonna lose my hive of bees, and that happens enough. And then they get mad, cause man, they're hot blooded. But
Yeah, honeybees are cool.
they are fun to watch.
Yeah, I grew up, my dad had 150 hives.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Oh my, that's work there then. That's some
Yeah.
serious work.
So we,
Did you haul them places
yeah,
to?
he took them out,
Wow.
like central. I remember going with him to like Brinkley and. that
Okay,
area where
pollinate
they
their
plant
crops?
hives. And
That's
he'd put the
wild.
hives in all the fields, and then at the end of the season,
Hmm.
drive down in the truck and big flatbed and tarps.
Wow.
Pick up all those supers and then.
Huh.
Wow. Tarp it down and. Bring it back up,
Hmm.
and then we converted the parlor from our dairy barn into a processor. So on those weekends, it was like, plan anything, kids, cause you're gonna be working.
Mm-hmm.
So we would. We heard, I don't ever remember when. Avail or anything.
Really?
Wow.
Go out in the
You
fields.
have like Italian bees or something, or? Wow.
I remember getting
Mine
stung
were-
a couple times.
Huh.
But yeah,
My
we
problem
would
is-
bring them in and, so dad would have the hives outside and he'd smoke them and then brush off
Mhm.
the honeybees and he'd bring them into the parlor and we had stations. And we used the electric knives and we would decap.
Huh.
And then we had this huge extractor, and we put them in this big extractor and then spin it down and then after it went through the extractor and filtration, it went into the big, like an old, milk tank. And that's where.
Man,
And we would-
Interesting.
how many gallons of honey would you get?
And
Huh.
then he sold it to like a honey consortium, basically.
Mhm.
But we did all the manual labor.
Wow.
And sustain the honeybee stings.
We just plant pollinator gardens and habitats. That's as far as we get into it.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to on the farm figure out, between the hay fields and the cattle and between spraying and the fertilizer, how we can get just create a pasture with just the honey plants.
For the bees and stuff.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cause they travel for miles and miles. Every time I see a honeybee, I'm like, where are you doing? This came a long way.
We've got a neighbor down the street that has honeybees, and we think all of his come to our house, go through all of our plants, and then go back. Cause you don't see them overnight, but like dusk and dawn, you can hear the bushes buzzing.
Buzzing, yeah, they
Mhm.
gotta get out there
It's
and
pretty
get
cool.
warmed up, those little worker bees.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I wonder where they're at on hiring the next state vet.
That would be a fair question.
Yeah, I figured.
Mhm.
I-
Curious.
Heard a million rumors swirling, but which is funny.
Yeah, we end up gonna end up hiring two.
Should.
Hiring
job.
2 state vets?
No, we're gonna fill Moffitt's position as well.
Right, a state vet, and assistant state vet.
Yeah, he's
Well-
going back to private practice.
Cause his original was like field services.
Mhm.
He's not very reading, but he has 5 kids all over the state.
Came out and stayed a weekend with us up in Mountain Home and had a mountain biking competition there with the kids. and It's hilarious because he had 5, right?
Mhm.
All the little
Wow.
ducklings, and they came out, and it was funny because I'd shut off the security system out there at the house they were staying in. But I forgot I left the game camera on what's in the driveway, and it was like ding, 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 and I couldn't shut it off from my phone. And then within me alert to, bless his heart, he must have had him out fishing at night, and there'd be a little side by side go by and a kid in it, and going to the lake, going to this, going to that. Oh my goodness. I'll never make that mistake again.
There are always livestock inspectors are doing. I went to the Cattlemen's Association meeting,
Mhm.
they done on your meeting, got to see how it all works. But met several of the inspectors and they were all concerned about the building.
Concerned about what? Josh leaving? Well, obviously, we need somebody, and so,
They gotta report to somebody.
and then we kind of need some clarity and direction and, focus and follow through.
They're getting it,
Mhm.
it's a different route.
Mm.
Patrick. I bet you didn't know that part.
Nice video of me shotgunning pickled juice.
Mhm.
Anybody with dogs, there's a veterinarian. Doesn't matter what they need, they get transferred to me, and then I'm trying to figure out. Being pretty new, I don't know. I've been here for about 6 months, but still had to figure out who does what, so.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, let me, let me give you Patrick. Patrick's on, you know, Delta.
Do you get a ton of phone calls from vets? Like, do they,
Not a lot.
Mostly licensing
Yeah,
questions.
mostly licensed places.
Hmm.
Um, We get a lot of endorsements right now, they're wanting to come in, or they need a verification, there's not a lot. Having, what they need, so I. Cause if they tell me on the phone, there's probably a good chance that it's not gonna stay with me all that long.
Mhm.
I did have a lady send it in. I read it. But. Not my place to give an opinion, so I just put it together and sent it out. And she said now that I sent it out to the veterinarian, that the clinic is calling, they're wanting.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We can you hear us?
Can. Go ahead and mute your mic, Tom, till you get ready to start.
Okay. We've been talking
Hi, Josh.
about you.
I was listening.
oh,
Sneaky,
It's on that-
sneaky.
It's on that computer down
I
there.
snuck in.
Good thing we weren't talking
delete
French.
that part about, you know.
Yeah, that wasn't me, that was Rob.
I forgot that little sweatshirt, by the way. I apologize.
It's fine. We can get it later.
Got videos of your kids.
Yeah, I was laughing. You got a great little family.
Thanks.
My daughter thought it'd be hilarious, to find videos, but she saw one of my little game cameras I'd put up on a little trail, cause there was somebody just coming in and out, and she smeared peanut butter above it, bullet. I had this deer licking. the
Oh,
camera, and it was like,
you're telling on that bear.
mm,
Cute picture.
boy. The bears are real active up there right now. We're all running around. I guess things have just kind of dried up and running out of things to eat, but they're all over town. And
Where was the guy that got mauled?
what's that?
Over by Mina, wasn't
Oh, yeah, that was down at, White Rock, I believe. Down south of, Fayetteville. Well, I think they said that was down in, I believe it's White Rock, so south of Elkins, just down by the pig trail.
Okay.
But
By Mulberry.
Mulberry, yeah.
Mulberry, yeah.
Beautiful.
Right there.
Oh, did you really? Man. Well,
They're not expecting-
Mulberry, so you know where Pettigrew is? Okay, well, I'm famous down there at Pettigrew because back in 1993, probably, killed the mayor of Pettigrew. So it's true, but Pettigrew is a little big spot in the road down there by the pig trail down by Mulberry. And there's like a little country store that's probably not even there anymore, a sawmill.
Oh, yeah, that's.
So they,
Oh,
they-
that thing was pretty tough.
yeah, it's So I was in Huntsville, that was part of my territory. And they chain an old billy goat to some old cars right out there by the road, and they'd always elect him as the mayor of Pettigrew. So the funny part is they bring this old smelly billy goat up, because he'd been attacking kids and stuff there by a little country store. So I castrated him. Apparently that went fine, but he went back and they stuck him on this chain out there by the old cars. And 2 days later, they came and they found him, and he'd climbed up and already hung himself.
Well,
So some little old feller came in.
suicide
and
after castration is reasonable, yeah.
It was so funny, because one of the little loggers came in there and like, oh, you knew that, huh? You're the one that, you got killed Mayor
Killed Mayor
Pettigrew. What? It's like, I did what? So I thought it was so hilarious that, yeah, killed Mayor Pettigrew.
How long after was the suicide?
Well, fortunately, he lived a couple of days after, before he killed himself, so I got credit for his murder or his suicide or whatever, but they didn't blame my technique at least,
Right.
so.
There you go. All
Yeah.
you can ask for.
So I didn't get a complaint filed against me.
Right, right.
I just got the title. And so it's like.
Had a
Just
guy
the
that just wanted to make a deposit in the bank and didn't wanna drive, didn't
That's
wanna.
right.
walk in.
He deposited his truck right into the bank.
That's a beautiful country down there though. Absolutely.
Yeah, the Mulberry River's pretty too. Good viewer to float on.
Mhm. But my buddies called me one day, he was there in Huntsville. It was raining like crazy and had been for 2 or 3 days, and they said, come with us. I was like, well, I'm on call. Said, well, we're gonna have an adventure. I said, what are you gonna do? We're gonna float the Mulberry. And I'm like, now? 'Cause that thing is rolling.
Rolling, yeah, I think it's going.
I didn't hear from him for several days. So when I finally like followed back up, they go, we'll be glad you didn't go, because then they told us, I mean, they destroyed their canoe right out of the box, and then they're all, of course, they didn't think it through very well that, when you go downstream, you better have, so they were stuck kind of halfway between
Oh,
their ride and.
But
and
they
the hike out.
did the cabin right after the big rain like that, and they took canoes and flew them in, and they didn't show up for work next day. Oh, there's 4 of them, and they got stuck somewhere down in there, and anyway, they had to get rescued in the middle of the night.
Caddo can get real wily.
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
We're at floating the Kings River.
Mhm. It's beautiful.
Where it comes around is fairly close to our property. So we would go on our neighbor's property and put in. And then do a 2 or 3 day float.
Nice.
One time it was up, and we made it in one day.
One day.
Mhm.
All the way.
I wanna paddle
No, there's a lot of praying.
Yeah, steering.
One of my
Yeah,
more
yeah.
interesting.
New capsize with my sister.
Ooh.
And, and there was a tree across the river. So you had to do a sharp embankment and then get out back around. And she was in a flat bottom boat and we were on canoes, and their boat went under and it hooked her,
Ooh.
whatever, flipped the boat around. And on the opposite side was this big blue hole with another canoe at the bottom of it. When she grabbed onto the tree. Then the flat bottom went capsized and it went underneath her feet. So she's like the pivot point, so that it's on both sides.
Wow.
She was hanging onto a tree. It was a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And I got my canoe over and climbed out on the tree. And I was on the tree, holding on to her, so that out, because it was over the basil.
Mm.
Everybody was going, I was like, get over here.
Yeah.
No self-service for the hills, private, mountains of bluffs on both sides.
closing the spring there one time. And I even myself promised that when I got back from floating, that'd be the last time I got in it.
Aw.
On the river walk.
Yeah.
Saw some interesting sights.
I made myself promise to take more beads next time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up on Spring River,
Did you?
Yeah,
about 30 minutes.
right out there on the bluff.
Oh, yeah. Take more.
Okay, well, Patrick's not in here, but.
That's why we like the Wachita. And the
Yeah.
Emerald Dam, Bear River. You just keep your knees straight. You're good.
Flat, yeah,
Mhm.
this was wild. I mean, Kings, we'd have, there was that deer from trees and. Not a good decision.
No, we did the Caddo with friends and their canoe swamped. And me and my husband were in kayaks. We had our dog with us and we didn't realize how bad it was gonna be. So the dog ended up getting shoved underneath the front of the kayak. And like you just see her little head peeking out between my husband's legs. And like, we're just dear life. You know, the only bad thing, one person lost flip-flops. We're like, that's a good day. Uh-huh.
Pretty normal.
You can't lose your beer.
That was not a beer day.
But no, it wasn't.
That was oh shit, everybody pull over and tie everything down day.
That's right.
Well, are we ready to get going?
You bet.
Sure.
12:27. I'll,
Let Josh back in.
Recording in progress.
minutes from our last meeting. Dr. Hewitt, are you with us?
Looks like we might be muted.
Sarah, can you hear me?
There he is.
Dr. Hewitt, can you hear us?
I can.
Okay, great.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, perfect.
Can you guys hear me?
We can't.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. I got my AirPods to pair up so I can hear you guys much better than I have.
Hey.
Yes. The
It's
little
nice.
things.
Yes.
Thank you much.
Okay, I have the minutes from our last meeting on the screen.
I'd make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
A second. all you, Bill.
Are you there, Bill?
It'd help if I took myself off of audio off of mute. So, you guys just voted on approval of the minutes from July the 9th.
We hadn't voted yet. Dr.
Oh,
Hewitt.
okay. Okay, gotcha. So 12:30, let's go ahead and officially start the meeting, with a roll call. So Rob Connor, Sarah Klein, Sarah Throne,
Here.
Kate Williams,
Here.
Mike Pallone, and myself. So I think we're all here. I didn't miss anybody, did I?
That's it.
No.
No,
Okay, good deal. So, the next item is, approval of the minutes from July the 9th, 2025.
I'd make a
Anybody?
make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Seconded for Dr. Williams.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So, Tom, do you want to talk about our corporate practice and our veterinary endorsements?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We do have, actually four. There was one that came in right after the agenda went to be approved, but I didn't want him to wait for 3 months to get in, so I thought we might could slide him in there. This is from the Paris Veterinarian Services, Dr. Taylor Bolden. Got all her documents here. They've amended something there and then got all our organization information. You stop me for whatever you need to see. But by the way, I read it there, and she does have a application in there. Why it's not showing up, but when I looked it over, it all looked to be complete. So that is for the Paris Veterinarian Services.
What about this Moffat character?
Well,
Yeah.
Jane,
I've-
I don't-
I've-
Road.
Bad
It's like a
information.
shell company.
Yeah.
It's the best looking one.
Yeah,
That's the presentation.
yeah, and then we have a Landmark Animal Clinic. We had to work through a few things to get all of what he needed, what he had, so.
Yeah, that one
Who was that?
It was Andrea Shaw, and then she sold it over to Daly, Brandon Daly.
That's her in Little Rock.
Yeah. in the
Okay.
rock.
So he had all of his information there, so, it'll be complete when I was going over. Then we, of course, we have, Moffitt's there, but this last one, or this next one, the Williams Veterinarian Services. I got all his information in, and, he got all of it in, but, again, we had to do a little digging to get it, but, the way it sounded, he'd already been been up and going a little bit before he sent all this in. But his application packet looked complete to me, so go
I'm
ahead.
just gonna ask Rob, it says the registered agent is Northwest Registered Agent LLC out of Mountain Home.
Interesting.
I just saw that.
Likely that would be, the attorney that he used.
Attorney, okay,
I've seen that, name
That name.
on a few.
okay, I just
Yeah.
wondered if if you knew of,
I would assume it's one of our lawyers, but
okay, just curious.
Then we had Dr. Conference. I don't know if everyone had the opportunity to look all that over. If you have, so those are the, actually four corporates that we had, submitted. The veterinarians that came in by endorsement, again, all of those, were completed when they sent it in. I may have had to reach out and get a transcript or whatever, but they've got all the information that's needed. I do have a couple that have, submitted applications, but they're, less than 5 years in practice, so, they're gonna end up taking, having to take the jurisprudence exam. So we've addressed that with temporary, permits while they've been doing that. We've had these few, technicians that have come in. I did have a call yesterday and I wanted to ask you guys about, because I wasn't sure. We don't have a different application for a technologist versus a technician, as the application says it does both. And she wanted to know if there would be a difference in what her title would be, or the, I guess the abbreviation at the end of her name. But I've not seen any of those, so I didn't know how they looked. I told her I would ask today, and get back in touch with her.
Well, if it's a technologist, then that requires education, so I think.
Get her bachelor's degree, and that's what she was saying, that she was about to graduate with that.
Yeah, I think it should reflect that.
Yeah.
That additional education.
I do too, I just didn't know, because right now we just call it CVT, and that, and the way that's listed on our. Both.
So the technology, so you have a academy core that she completed?
From the conversation we had yesterday, she is completing a bachelor's degree in that. I'm not sure.
Mississippi State and all those are a 4-year, that's a bachelor degree program. Yeah.
Do you know if other states have a special designation for technologist versus technician?
I'm not sure of that, but
I was just Googling that.
Unless they're ATS.
Not knowing.
In the ABMA, we try to make sure that they're differentiated.
Yeah,
Because there's a significant education difference.
sure.
What would their abbreviation be
Right.
according to ABMA? Like what?
I think they spell out technology.
Okay.
Sure, CV,
technology.
and I know.
So
our
you would think it'd be like
legislative-
BSVT or something like
Correct.
that, or Bachelor of Sciences, or,
Science, yeah.
but, you know, Dr. Google says, certified vet tech, CVT, LVT, licensed veterinary technician, registered veterinary technician, CRVT, and so they're saying that a technologist, they don't have a specific designation, and then Purdue and all say, once they get the specialty thing, they can be a VTS. But there's, oddly enough, at least on the internet, there is no differentiation between a technologist and a technician as far as the 2 to 3 letters behind their name. I think there ought to be as well. I think
I would agree, yeah.
there's a big difference in their education and
Well,
training.
that was a big deal when during the legislation in 21, it was, that was a lot of emphasis was put on that technologist and to distinguish the differences. Now they both can really practice it the same. There's no difference.
Yeah, no difference in their.
Each one can get their own
Left.
speciality, but if there's a requirement to get continuing education or not continuing, additional education, I think it should reflect.
I wonder if they could just put BS next to it, like CVT comma BS.
I can do that when we do their.
Isn't it VTS, that abbreviation?
You don't get the S until you've done the academy though.
And you've done the academy,
Yes.
which would.
So just
Specialist, yeah.
straight up
And
technology.
that could be a CVT, that could be a tech or a technologist, and do the academy.
Yeah, yeah, and as far as I understood, she had done a core fraud specialist.
And legislatively, it was type,
They were grouped.
they were groups.
They were,
No separation.
that's exactly right, other than the, continued, the additional hours.
For the ETS.
Yeah.
I can add the BS at the end of the.
Or
At the end of the
CBT
title,
or
when,
something.
when,
Yeah,
yeah. with the-
I mean, she could choose.
Yeah,
to
you'd think
add-
BSPT or I'm with you. There doesn't seem to be a
Mhm.
Standard. on-
interesting.
But all,
Yeah,
all the,
you'd think they would.
all of these have presented all their information and we've got all that good. And they're good to go, so.
So we need to make motions on.
We
each one of
do
these
each
individually.
one,
Yeah.
each category.
Yeah, and I like to interject just maybe a question or a suggestion. Is this something that you all would want to continue to do, or this be moved to more of an administrative
I think
procedure?
unless there's a problem,
Mhm.
then we move it administratively.
That-
Yeah.
That's,
If there's a problem, you know, if y'all come up with something that is red flagging,
Right.
you know, if there's an issue like
Right.
with the guy in Nevada or something like that, then I think it ought to be brought before here, but other than that,
so I think it would save your time, and then
I mean,
Mhm.
y'all say anyway, I mean, we're just saying.
well, they check, as long as they check all the
Right,
boxes.
right.
And they've fulfilled all the requirements, then I think it should just be, as a matter of fact, even not even for commission, just notifying the board now that these were.
These were approved, right,
Right.
and again, cause on the board, again, all that's listed out and we're just going by y'all's due diligence of making
Right.
sure all this is done
Right.
correctly.
Cause we used to get.
I
the packets on
think that-
before,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it sounds reasonable, save some time.
I mean, I can bring you a report that says we had 6,
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Here in-
And then-
Basically have an administrative report.
Exactly.
Then we bring.
Yeah, if they check yes on the box where they should say no, then we bring that before.
Sure.
Perfect.
committee.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Like Sarah said, as an administrative report.
So is there a motion to approve the full list for the corporate practices?
I would make a motion to approve the corporate practices as listed.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there a motion to approve the veterinarians on the list in full?
I'll make a motion to approve the veterinarians on the list by endorsement.
I'll second.
Seconded by Dr. Throne. I can,
No.
I don't, whoever that was. So any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. And then thirdly, is there a motion to approve the technicians and technologists as listed in full?
So
I'll make-
moved.
I'll second.
Motion seconded. Is there a discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So all applicants, whether corporate, individual veterinarians or technologists or technicians, have been approved. So congratulations to those folks.
We need to make a motion to do
They
it.
might do business.
Yeah, I think it
Oh,
would.
I've got that pulled up.
So just for the.
So, Bill, I'm gonna make a motion that, moving forward, that the corporate practices, the veterinarians by endorsement and the technician technologist approval list be done administratively unless the administration finds a problem that needs to come before the board.
Second.
So that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second by Sarah Throne.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries that, unless there's a problem, all corporate practices, individual veterinarians by endorsement and technicians and technologists will be handled administratively. Tom, do you want to go ahead and start on the complaint?
Okay, yeah, we can do that. Go down here to.
Start with me.
Oh, that was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm,
So many check boxes.
we're gonna wait
Yeah, I need
till the end. It's a little difficult.
Do you want to go over it?
Yeah. I was gonna say,
So I say, I'm sorry. And second, I might have the award for the most supposed violations I've ever seen.
So many check boxes.
Yeah, he did quite a bit there.
So, my quick summary is this was a dog that was presented to the clinic. Went through rescue and, came in for some puppy vaccines. I saw the animal one time for distemper parvo. Said schedule your rabies vaccine a couple months out. I had a new associate that started July 1st of that year. And so she actually administered the rabies vaccine and she was not able to sign certificate. So as her supervisor, they put my stamp on it. Most of the time she signed them, but for this reason that day, for some reason she did not. And they used my stamp. That was all I knew ever happened until this complaint popped up. We had sent records, as you saw, to a couple boarding facilities and other clinics. It was a rescue dog, so it kind of bounced around for a while. But Ava ended up adopting the animal. And she had some questions about her rabies certificates and even about 2023, which was done in Missouri. But her questions about the certificate number or the rabies tag number, she did write a formal, a note or a notarized registered letter to the clinic. I was not even aware of that because it wasn't in my practice manager handles that. So when I saw the complaint, I had to take it to her and she's like, this was handled. So, basically the questions were about my stamp being on the rabies tag.
This is your complaint, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe that you can interject.
Oh, I can't say anything?
No,
Okay,
I think you have to recuse yourself.
okay, so,
So, I'm sorry, I didn't realize, Catherine, so yes, I don't think,
so,
she can have a vote, or say, or.
You can,
You can stay.
yeah,
You can stay.
stay.
Yeah.
You just need to recuse.
yeah, well,
So,
And like, could
There you
you,
go.
could you
Okay.
comment to, like, during the discussion
No.
period? Okay.
paper is what we go with.
you're,
No, no, that's all right. Well, if you'd like for me to,
I can start or you can, either one, yeah.
yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Well, what is the docket number?
2025.
2025-20.
So I would just, I've read 2025-20 and I see no, infractions against the Veterinary Practice Act in this at all. If y'all want to discuss it, we can. I make a motion to dismiss this case.
I would actually second the motion.
Yeah.
Bill?
I'm sorry, this is my second.
Yes,
Any discussion?
I agree. I think the biggest issue that we had was the client was confused on how numbering of rabies certificates worked. And I think that was a big part of her confusion on thinking there was some different tags involved and they weren't if you know what the scheme of rabies tags numbers, there wasn't a discrepancy in that. And I thought the response back on the explanation on stamps was logical and made sense.
Agreed.
Any other discussion? So the motion is to dismiss. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So, complaint 2025-20 has been dismissed.
Welcome back, Dr. Will.
That's right. Revocation was on the table, but only. What's next?
2025-21.
Let me see this one.
No, this is one just like the one that we already saw.
Same one.
Different client.
Yeah.
Different.
Client.
Different client, same problem.
Same.
Okay,
Oh,
I'm sorry, I don't see the docket numbers on mine, so if.
I had to write them on mine.
Okay.
The-
Yeah, they weren't on. It's Aaron Watley versus Claire Kelly.
veterinarian refused to sell her
Yeah, yeah.
or give her a script for,
But
Yeah.
we, no, so we did an Aaron Watley.
Oh, well, there were-
We did one
No.
for Claire and Kelly.
No, but it was
It was
Aaron.
We
Watley.
Watley.
did Claire Kelly. Was it Watley? I didn't remember that name.
So 2025-19 was Aaron Watley versus Claire Kelly about the prescriptions.
That came up, but
Last
then it
meeting.
wasn't ready, and so it was moved to this meeting.
Okay, I was very confused. That's why
Came
I'm
up
reading it a
last
second
time,
time.
and-
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
All right, who wants to run with that one?
I'll do this one.
Okay.
I'll be quiet.
Mhm.
All right, this was Watley versus Dr. Kelly. The complaint was for unprofessional conduct. As we read it last time. Quick summary is Kelly Veterinary Services requires a voucher, spay or neuter voucher be presented prior to the procedure, like the morning of or prior to, and they're scheduled in a different manner. And I guess she presented, or he presented the animal, did not have the voucher presented that morning, so that was one part of the complaint. So I guess they paid the full price and went on. Also, it involves veterinary prescription products like NexGard and Cilio that they had purchased through the clinic, and they wanted some scripts to go out. I think the response actually lines it up in the sequence of events a little better, because with the response, I felt it was a little scattered, but the response did go into detail. On January 25th, Ruger was one of the dogs that was neutered without the voucher, and they paid full price. And then on January 17th, that particular dog had been in for an appointment in the testing, and it was seen by a different veterinarian, because that comes back up in the response. And
And it was a different dog too. It went from Ruger to Zeus.
Yeah, so there are two dogs involved. Thank you.
Yeah,
And then,
it was confusing to read through this.
and then in January, the dog presented for dental, requested some scripts for NexGard, Cilio, and Trazodone. They filled, and the chief complaint comes to the fact that Mr. Watley had presented to purchase 4 boxes of Cilio. And they only had 2, and they said, we will order those and basically let you know when they come in. And then he came back the next day to request the other 2 boxes. And there was a verbal altercation with the customer service or the receptionist at the clinic, where supposedly he became aggressive and demanding. So that's where Dr. Kelly kind of got back involved. And their policy was they don't, what's what I'm looking for. That
They don't script out for things that they carry in-house.
And Dr. Kelly did write the written script for the other 2 boxes of the Cilio, because the guy was gonna be traveling to remote areas on a hunting trip or something like that. So Mr. Watley became aggressive towards the staff, and the scripts were provided to the owner. So I think the response identifies the issues, and explains the case very well. I personally didn't find any violations in this case.
Or, yeah, no unethical conduct.
No.
It's just for clarity with legal, I mean, are veterinarians under any legal obligation to write a prescription?
No,
No.
No.
I looked it up.
you're not forced to do business with anyone that you don't. So if you say Chewy and you wanna tell a client that they've been sued by the Board of Pharmacy in 50 states, and if that's accurate and true, and you choose not to do business with them, then, now, the client has the right they can go to another business.
Sure.
Right, so
Right, but
that's,
there's no legal.
No.
bind. I
if you
didn't
don't
think
like
there
that
was.
hamburger, you can go to another place
Yeah.
and get another hamburger.
So what I could
So-
find was in 2022, Sherry Glover, when she was the secretary for the board, she put out a statement that said, no, we're not required to. AVMA, the ethics panel says we should, but it doesn't say we have to. And that's all I could find on it.
Okay. That's what I've always thought
You
too.
choose your
Yeah.
business
Making sure.
practice, it's, you run your business as you,
Believe that Mr. Watley, used the AVMA, should part in there. He took that as,
must.
Must.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, it says they require veterinarians to provide prescriptions, but it's the AVMA there, it's advisory,
Right,
it's
it's the
not
guidelines.
legislative.
Okay.
So,
Right, and on the human side, you know, it's a complete different story,
yeah,
because they,
Oh.
so, and we don't even maintain script pads.
Yeah, I don't have a script pass.
We do that on purpose, but
Yeah.
it's our practice because of,
It's to have.
we've had people peel one off and take it to a pharmacy somewhere and write in Tramadol.
Tramadol,
You know,
yeah.
so,
So is there a motion to dismiss?
I'll make a motion that we dispense case number 2025-2021. Excuse me.
I'll second it. So many twos.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So case 2025-21 has been dismissed.
the next one we have is, 2025, dash 22 is Dr. Brian Peters, but I'd gotten an email about that yesterday. And I'm sorry, I forgot to introduce you all, when we were calling the roll. So, if you would, you can introduce yourselves. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So my name is Matthew Ford. Thanks for having me today. My first day was yesterday. I'm the new chief counsel for the Department of Agriculture. Excited to be here and look forward to working with you.
My name's Shayla Clemens. I'm technically still legal support specialist, but it's changing to attorney soon. I got sworn in yesterday, so.
Congratulations.
I've been on this for 2 weeks or so, so I'm also pretty new.
All right.
Happy to be here.
Wonderful.
This case, Mr. Ford is going to, take over the legal study on it, and he'd asked that we, table this until he has time to sufficiently come on board.
Okay. So 2025-22 is being tabled.
Yes.
Okay.
Peters. Correct?
Yes, Peters.
And then there was one, this one, I think I've had a conversation with, one of them about this, this complaint came in last year sometime, and I don't know exactly, but from my investigative work, we had sent the veterinarian, 2 letters to respond, prior to, 2025, and I sent her another letter to respond, and if we wanna go over the summary of that, you can read it, or any of you that wanna read Miss Smith's complaint there.
I can read it.
Okay.
So this is, case number 2024 Shelley Smith versus Stephanie Kessler. When she was practicing at After Hours Animal Hospital as a PRN veterinarian. So basically on 10/15/23, this, I'm gonna call him an owner. They're kind of the quasi owner. But this owner was driving and noticed a dog that had been hit by a car. A woman was standing over him. The dog was non-responsive. It had labored breathing, and there were a lot of blood coming out of his mouth. So they contacted ERs and found that AHA was open, After Hours Animal Hospital. Basically, they came in and their intention was, if this dog is beyond saving, we want to euthanize it because to us it's a stray. But if it has a good prognosis, we're willing to talk, and consider a treatment plan. They were told by the receptionist at AHA that it would be a $1,200 deposit to essentially walk in the door. But if the assessment was not going to provide a livable outcome and they were going to euthanize, then they would be refunded whatever the balance was. And this owner, it sounds like, repeatedly stressed that they wanted a treatment plan. They wanted to be kept abreast of all of the changes going on with this dog because they were more inclined to euthanize than they were to treat. So they went to AHA. The dog was taken to the back to be triaged. Their credit card was charged. And then they said they waited for 2 hours in the lobby before they were informed of what was going on with the dog. When they finally got to talk to the doctor, Dr. Kessler told them that she had basically provided all of his treatments for this dog. And she had done x-rays, she had done, medications, and the owners were like, wait, we just wanted an assessment. And then, we wanted to talk and we haven't been provided any treatment plans. The dog, the x-rays found that the dog's chest was quote unquote whited out. The dog had a pulse ox of 70%, and needed oxygen. And throughout this letter from the quote unquote owner, the theme is I need a treatment plan. I need a prognosis. I need to know what's going on so I can make a decision. Mentioned that the dog might be heartworm positive, so they wanted to do blood work and a heartworm test on this dog. They wanted to do a bunch more treatments, and the letter says that they weren't told exactly what was going on with the dog. They weren't told the prognosis. They weren't told a treatment plan, but they were told that they needed to provide another $4,500 on top of the $1,200 to continue working on this dog. And they basically said, no, we want to know what's going on. And according to them, the doctor came out to the lobby and started to berate them, said she had some personal stuff going on and she needed to make money off this case. And that if they weren't going to do the blood work that was recommended, that she was going to discharge them AMA with this dog. And they were like, okay, we don't want to do blood work. And she said, okay, well, hang on, let me give one more injection of mannitol, which is an IV medication to help with head injuries. The owners asked, how much is this going to be? They were quoted $200. They agreed for the mannitol injection. It ended up being closer to $300 additional on top of what they had already paid. And they said basically in 3 hours, they didn't feel like anything helpful was done for this dog. They were discharged
Friend
AMA.
and colleague, Senator
The
Stubble.
staff brought the dog out to the car without the blanket that it came in with, which they were unhappy about.
Friend and
But the
colleague,
dog
Senator
went
Stubblefield's
ice cold,
family.
stiff, non-responsive. It made one agonal breath, opened its mouth, and blood poured out of the mouth. And it was deceased in the parking lot of AHA. So they hadn't even left the parking lot yet, according to this owner. They asked, so once the dog had passed, they asked for a receipt and any kind of a treatment plan so they could have something documented. They were told it wasn't completed yet. They would get it by email, which they did not receive. So they called on Monday asking for the itemized bill and receipt, and they finally did receive it that evening. They believe that the dog never stood a chance and that they were essentially being used to make a bunch of money for AHA, even though this dog had a poor prognosis, and that they were kept in the dark on purpose. That was the gist that I got from this. Basically to this day, they were never provided a treatment plan. They had signed nothing other than the intake paperwork authorizing treatment. They were never provided the option of a humane euthanasia. And they felt that, that they said basically aggressive treatment was given without their consent or even a treatment plan review. They were never given a choice between treatment versus euthanasia. So they've provided documentation of the invoice that they received of looks like the timeline of driving to after hours. They also have the after hours medical record in here with basically the physical exam findings of the dog. According to after hours' record, the dog arrived shocky. The pupils were myotic and minimally responsive. There was an open sinus oral nasal fistula and missing 2 upper incisors. I'm reading kind of most of the abnormal findings. Epistaxis, a sinus fracture on the upper right side. The dog was not walking. It had hematuria. Neurologic, they could not assess because the dog was not moving and in shock. And the prognosis was listed as guarded to poor. Basically, the assessment was multi-trauma, sinus fracture, pulmonary contusions, cranial trauma, and hematuria. And if I'm reading this correctly, this was all assessed prior to any diagnostics or treatment being performed. Because then it goes on to say the X-ray findings of pulmonary contusions, the upper right maxilla fracture, the EKG showed a sinus tachycardia with VPCs. SpO2 was 74%. They did give hydromorphone, they bolus plasmolite, gave mannitol, passed a urinary catheter, which that's where they found the hematuria, or at least drained it. And then it basically says the owner declined all and warned owner that it is AMA, could die or be very detrimental. Owner left with dog AMA. There's links to the x-rays. There is a list of medications given, which is also reflected on that invoice. And then a discharge summary, essentially. There are no notes in the AHA paperwork about whether euthanasia was discussed or not. So then we've got the records from contacting the veterinarian, which Tom kind of mentioned was a bit of a back and forth and multiple contacts made. But there was a email from Dr. Kessler that says, once a client is authorized, signed, and verbally consented to all stabilization initial treatments at after hour ER, as provided in the written documents, which we don't have a written authorization form in this packet. And it says the doctor's diagnose and determine what types of treatments and prognosis for that patient. And this patient prognosis was very poor, and owner consented to euthanasia. And it was sent from her phone. We don't have a euthanasia. We don't really have proposed treatment plans. We don't have any additional records from after hours other than what the owner provided. So, we don't have the authorization information. The way I read this is nothing was authorized because we don't have the paperwork showing it was authorized. And we have an owner saying they didn't authorize it. I also found,
And you have the veterinarian saying euthanasia was going to be done and euthanasia wasn't done.
I'm wondering if she's misremembering the case, if she didn't have access to the records, but it's kind of a bold statement to make if you don't have the record in front of you. My statement would have been a lot more vague of, I don't have the record in front of me. I don't remember the particulars of this case. If we can access it, I'm happy to comment on it. But that wasn't done. To me, just reading through the exam findings,
if this had walked into my ER shift, I would have said, hey, guys, this is bad. This is we go big and go all in, or we euthanize kind of a deal. There is no halvesies on this. And first question to them would be, are we stabilizing this dog and talking? Or do I go, hey, this is bad, we're euthanizing?
Especially when they made it clear there was a stray and that, again, they just
Yeah.
wanted an assessment for a,
Mhm.
prognostic assessment to begin with, and
Yeah.
With the list of the gravity of the symptoms with head trauma and
Yeah.
spinal cord trauma and the pulmonary
contusions and,
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, even if it was their beloved pet and they had all the money in the world, you just still had that conversation.
Mhm.
Well,
Absolutely.
exactly. And if it had walked into my ear and I was like, hey, can I give it a shot of hydromorphone? Like it sounds like these owners probably would have agreed to that. And like, okay, then we can talk. At least the dog's not in pain, then we can talk. This went into like a full triage rescue mission. I also thought that it was interesting. There's 2 heat support charges. I don't know if it's by hour.
$149, yeah,
Yeah, because
That
it
was
was
interesting,
one and
because they added one and on top of the other.
and then it was also hospitalized.
Yeah,
Which they didn't consent to. So some of this was interesting. I don't know. I'm gonna be honest, this case made me just kind of feel icky as an ER vet.
Yep.
And like, I know Dr. Kessler and she's a good doctor, but reading this with the facts that we have in front of us, like, I'm inclined to agree with the complaint.
Agreed.
well, this
With the
doctor,
information that we have, yes.
Yeah, and I actually kind of highlighted some additional things that I found were problematic, in terms of the complaint form. I don't know about y'all.
So can I ask a question? This is out of my wheelhouse as far as emergency medicine goes. But what I got conflicted with was they wanted a treatment plan. They voluntarily gave a $1,200 deposit. How much, I mean, you have to know what you're treating for in order to have a plan, and you have to do some diagnostics. So that's one question that I have. I mean,
But the
Yeah.
diagnosis approach for 8 X-rays, and I mean, I get what you're saying, Bill, but to assess that dog and figure out that it is critical, you wouldn't have had all the heat support and all that. I mean, you could have figured that out
at a glance.
in 10 minutes, and between the X-rays of the chest and the physical exam, and I think you could figure that out pretty fast to figure out that at least this was bad. And again, then walk back out and have a conversation with the owner before you burn through the 1,200. And look, I own a ER. These deposits, are deposits, to ensure that we don't get stuck. But just because you ask for a $1,200 deposit, that does not mean that those people are, really wanting to spend $1,200.
Exactly.
And so, a lot of cases will come in and we will assess it. And we may shoot 2 X-rays and do a physical exam and then euthanize the dog, and then we're crediting them back to their credit card $600. So again, that they were told that they had to pay the 1,200 just to come in. And I think they were probably expecting to get some of that or most of that back after they had a veterinarian look at this dog and say, hey, look, this is probably beyond what you want to spend on a stray. I would recommend euthanasia.
Yeah, I agree. I think based on just quick trauma without any diagnosis.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, wouldn't even
Right.
probably needed an X-ray. but
Their own
Just-
assessment.
Paying for a physical exam probably would have covered you with most everything you needed to go back and have a conversation with the client about.
You wouldn't need frog leg VD pelvis
Yeah.
and straight leg VD pelvis. I mean,
Right.
you look at the radiographs, again, a lot of this stuff is very repetitive for what they were looking
You
for.
can do a Dr.
There's
Grant
2
stuff
lateral
fast.
chest, one's a little lower than the other, so, again, very, very repetitive stuff.
Yeah, and I will say, having inherited a lot of clients from after hours, they don't give it as an option for
Oh,
you
I
to
know,
pay
yeah.
that deposit. Whereas like where I work, we tell them like, hey, we want a deposit of this amount. And if they say no, we go, okay, well, we're gonna be limited on what we can do. We've only done the exam. We're gonna get you a treatment plan for each step of the way, but it's gonna slow things down. You know,
But in a
these,
case like this, that would have been fine.
right, so these owners may have not been felt like they could have, you know, said no. Like, it's, if you wanna walk in our door, it's $1,200. Which. I've
And
heard
again, as
before.
long as, you know, if they get part of that back after the exam and the euthanasia, you know, nobody's upset. But just because that deposit's there doesn't mean you can burn through that and then ask, you know, after a 2-hour waiting room wait for more money to continue to treat, you know.
Exactly, exactly. And so the code that they've listed is 17-101-305, number 15, which is overtreating patients or charging for services which did not occur unless the services were contracted for in advance or for services which were not rendered or documented in the patient's record, or charging for services which were not consented to by the owner or the owner's agent.
I think we have enough information to validate that.
I would agree with that completely.
I agree. I agree. The other one, I think from the hip, because of how this kind of made me feel. I mean, I also thought maybe number 11. And I was looking at L and O. I can definitely be wafted away from that. But 11 is the unprofessional conduct. L is being guilty of dishonorable or unethical conduct likely to deceive, defraud, or harm the public, which I consider an owner, a member of the public. And O is conduct reflecting unfavorably on the profession of veterinary medicine. So, like I said, I can be kind of wafted away from that one, but I do think, in my opinion, this case fits number 15.
Easily.
Easily.
Yeah.
I know last time we had a meeting too, our council at the time recommended that we have the discussion, kind of give some direction, and then they were going to take and decide which statutes and then make a recommendation for kind of penalty. Is with our new council, is that still the route?
Yeah, we keep getting new council, so everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You're
Very nice.
you're like the fourth pair of new people, so we don't know what to do.
Operate.
And as I talked to Dr. Throne this morning, she had a question that, since the license of Dr. Kessler has expired and she no longer lives in the state, do we have any,
Oh, I didn't have that question. We absolutely still have responsibility to handle this case, regardless of whether she has a license or not still.
License at the time of the complaint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
complaint or
Is
your
she-
email?
Practicing veterinary medicine somewhere else?
Yeah.
She's multi-state, so she, yeah, she's veg, so she, I think, has multiple state licenses now, and I think she's based out of Florida, last I heard.
Out of where?
Well, we
Florida.
once were the most beloved profession of all professions. We absolutely were, and this is why we're not now.
Yeah.
Right here.
You're right. There used to be
Absolutely.
some Nobility to it.
So
Yeah.
you treat those people right. You treat them like you'd like to be treated. This dog went into that clinic
Should have been.
with a good Samaritan, trying to help out an animal that needed. It, by their own admission, it had gray mucous membranes and it was non-responsive and, you know, miotic pupils. It was very obvious that dog was in really bad shape. And the most ethical, reasonable, decent thing to do, especially with a good Samaritan requesting euthanasia,
Yeah.
assess and give me a treatment plan of something miraculous, wonderful that you think you can do to help this dog, or let's put this poor thing out of its misery. And 3 hours later, it died in the lady's car.
I probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
charged them.
And $1,500, 3 hours.
$1,500, yes, yes, and
And
$149 worth of heat
Because they didn't want
support.
to spend the 4,500 more.
If I were the public, I would be outraged.
At this particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think my biggest question is just how does our legal counsel want us to proceed with how they?
Absolutely. I apologize. I wasn't aware. I will certainly get our team to look at it, and I don't know when the next meeting is scheduled.
Well,
If
We're gonna set it back.
Sarah, see if you agree with this. I think for today and being for to cancel for being
Yeah.
for 2 days. And council being just sworn in yesterday, I think it would be fair to say, let's, for y'all's best effort to look at,
Yes.
see which one you
Which
think.
ones we think.
And then I can have Amanda review that later on this
Sure.
week. And if she agrees with it, we move on. If she doesn't, then we can bring this back
I think
for
that's
later
fair.
for discussion.
Yeah.
Nope, that's great. I just didn't want us to go down the rabbit hole of deciding which aspects of Practice Act for us to kind of end up in the same spot we were last time.
Right.
It's a good.
So if,
They got 15 and
If-
11.
yeah.
Yeah.
Say
I
all
agree,
the-
15.
And L and O.
Why don't you make that motion?
I mean.
Bill, what were you trying to say, Bill?
I was just saying, if this person is out of state and not licensed in the state, you know, I don't know exactly what to do about that, but maybe just hit them with one thing, which is, I agree, 15, and not try to do the, what is that, the 11,
Unprofessional
or
conduct.
the unprofessional conduct, yeah. Just do
So
one and go, and that way we can speed it up, get it done, get it over
So-
with.
A question. So if we have a finding here, does it go to the other boards to say, hey, in Arkansas, this happened, and now we let everybody else know? Because then it's important that we do make an accurate decision. If this is something that stays within the Arkansas only and never goes anywhere, I mean,
It will go on.
It's on the
official
portal.
record.
I can't-
exactly.
I can't remember exactly how it was worded, but I got two the other day, where they give a notice of disciplinary action.
So I think we need to do an actual finding. I think this is still very important, even though she's not in.
Yes.
Well, portal, we will not.
I mean, it kind of goes back to the case that we had in Nevada. I mean, it was important for us to understand what had happened in their licensing as they came to get a license here.
There may be new states that she applies to that this is going to influence. So I think we need to make a real and legitimate finding as if she were still practicing in Arkansas, is my opinion.
Well, it's true. It's just, she is a veterinarian,
Exactly.
regardless of.
Come back
And if
here.
there is a violation, then this would be on her permanent record,
Yeah,
within the portal, and it'll just be a disciplinary finding.
yeah.
Yeah, and that future states should be aware.
Right.
Yeah, when they do a AAVSB
Mm-hmm.
search, and that's where we'll put that on the portal, that there's, you know, all the state directors of the licensing are gonna get that. And be able to see that there's a disciplinary night, may not tell them, I don't think it tells them exactly what, but
No.
it tells them there is an actor. Disciplinary.
Dr. Klein, if you wanted to move with 11, I think F might be a good discussion point for a veterinarian to undertake the care of an animal and therefore fail to render the care as generally accepted by the veterinary profession. To Rob's
Yeah.
point that he made.
I mean, so the reason I didn't think about that one is because if this were a owner moving forward with the treatment plan, no matter what the cost, the care that was provided was reasonable. So giving those medications was reasonable for a head trauma dog. It was the surrounding circumstances that made this whole thing unacceptable in my view. So that was the only reason I didn't pick F.
That's valid.
Yeah, so for me, it was more like how Rob said, like, this is just, this smells bad for the veterinary profession. This is another anchovy in the curtain rod, like, this is bad.
That's a good one.
Thanks.
Visualize that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it
Smell it.
kind of lingers.
Okay.
So that's where I came from on these decisions.
Make a motion.
But I want, yeah, okay. All right, so I'm gonna make a motion on the complaint form 2024-10, Shelley Smith versus Stephanie Kessler. That this does meet the criteria for
17 101 305, number 11, which is unprofessional conduct by violation of a rule promulgated by the board under this chapter. Subsection would be L, which is being guilty of any dishonorable or unethical conduct likely to deceive, defraud, or harm the public. And O, conduct reflecting unfavorably upon the profession of veterinary medicine, as well as 17 101 305, number 15, which is overtreating patients or charging for services which did not occur unless the services were contracted for in advance, or for services which were not rendered or documented in the patient's records, or charging for services which were not consented to by the owner of the patient or the owner's agent.
I second your motion.
Is there any more discussion?
Well put.
Thank you. Do we need to come up with
Not yet.
Any-
All in, well,
Mm-mm.
first we gotta agree there was an infraction.
okay.
I move
So
we call for a vote.
all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So now we gotta talk about the penalty, correct?
I think this is the part where we've kind of more heavily leaned on our lawyer friends because this isn't like a CE medical record type of thing.
Yeah.
I don't really know how to move forward.
Yeah, the medical.
Especially
I would ask that we get, guidance from our counsel on this one.
because this is crossing state lines now. You should no longer practicing on the state.
Right.
Oh, you're, yeah,
I don't think CE fixes the situation.
So you're looking at monetary civil penalties at this point.
correct.
The option is, it's up to $5,000 per violation. And then you can make a recommendation of a certain monetary value in that, if you like. There could be $5,000 per violation, which would be 11 and 15. So if y'all want to discuss that, you can. If not, I can see if Amanda or later on council wants to regroup.
Right. I think if it's a monetary penalty,
Mhm.
I would suggest that we rely on legal support and legal advice.
Yeah.
I think we need to assess a penalty of $1,514.60.
It actually sounds reasonable.
Was that the amount of the bill?
That was the amount of it.
Excuse me.
Mhm. That's a message right there, huh? Truly,
Yep.
Poignant.
that's,
And like I said, it's that penalty's up to 5,000.
Yeah.
So it could be.
I think that's reasonable, Bill.
$100, or it could be $4,999.
I mean, the money's not going to the owners, so
No.
it's
No.
more to
Right.
send a point.
right.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's a message.
Well,
Yeah.
Bill, would you like to make a motion for that?
So I move that as a penalty for what is it, 24-10, that we propose a fine of $1,514.60 to Dr. Kessler.
I'll second that.
Do you want to do that per charge or just total?
Total.
It's been made and seconded.
So we vote.
Yes.
Bill,
It has
call
been
for
I'm
vote.
sorry. I can't hear you guys very well. So, okay, so it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There'll be a fine of $1,514.60.
Nice bill.
Yep. I like
Yeah,
that.
good.
There you go.
Man, don't cross Bill.
Not very appropriate.
Very
You know,
appropriate.
this case kind of, it does bring up the fact that relief veterinarians that practice
Yeah, it's just.
state to state, and there is no
Yes.
loyalty to
Right.
the animal. There's no.
Well,
Well, and I can tell you
loyalty.
the shift workers too, that work the ERs, we fall into that too, and then we've got some great ones.
Mhm.
And we got some ones that
Opportunist.
just opportunists, again, that float, and then they say, oh, not my clinic, not my circus, not my monkeys. You know,
Not my
this is, I'm just
reputation,
following,
not my-
you know, and that's not right. That doctor's still in charge of that case, and they're
It's your
still
DEA,
held liable for
your
their
license.
case, you know.
Yeah.
And, yeah, right,
Yeah.
You
right.
take that oath and it carries
And
from state to
so
state.
many, you know, again, just like we were talking about before, you know, you get that $1,200 deposit or whatever. That doesn't mean that you sit there and do unnecessary tests or run up.
That's a
against
guarantee that
$1,200.
you will get paid if you do the work.
Right, if you do it,
If you
if
do the
it's
work.
warranted.
Well,
Yep.
Okay, so if there's no other discussions around the, um, the complaints, let's move to other business. New business, and that would be our next meeting dates.
Well, that, and I do have a couple of things I wanted to, share with the group. For one, and let me pull it up here. Last meeting, I said that I would come up with some just a little checklist, for the complaints, that goes for both the, complainant and the respondent. And I got those done. I didn't add them to our portal step, but, the one that I shared on the screen is, for anyone who is going to submit a complaint. Basically, I took all this information from the complaint form, but, I just had the idea that we read every other word in the complaint form, and unless it's bulleted out, then we may skip some information. Cause I do get a lot where we put, names and addresses of any witnesses, but we don't get any witness statements. So that's one thing I wanted to address there.
Could that be separated out? Statements, because that's a
Sure.
crucial, piece of the pie that we're missing in a majority of the complaints.
Like folded, underlined.
Yeah, now,
asterisk.
I do have it a little separated from where the complainant statement is versus the witness statements. But I can sure make that, where, you know, I can do that right now.
Hasn't that's been,
That's been a huge
it's
problem,
been a
yeah.
huge, and I think if it's a separate line item, it might.
Could we even put something that says like, if a witness statement is not included, we will not be reaching out to them?
Sure.
Or something
Yeah.
to say like, it is on
I do
you.
think that would be,
Mhm.
anytime just a list of people's names and
Yeah, cause then it's
we're welcome
crystal
to call
clear.
them. Well,
And
They
I-
may assume it's like a reference and somebody's gonna call them.
Exactly, exactly.
If no statement.
No witness statements are included in your packet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be,
I think it should be like, if it's included, consider it. If it's not included, we,
Just said
it
any
doesn't
information
exist.
not included.
yeah, this
Not
is your
gonna be considered,
opportunity to
right?
Same for
state
the
your
res-
case.
Yeah, and I did that on the response when I made a little.
Yeah,
word
based on the,
doc.
I like that. I kind of think like something like that statement should just be on the
Okay, yeah,
submission.
I can move that statement over.
Yeah,
This is the one for the submissions,
Mhm.
and let me get back.
Well, Tom, on that, the last one, it said it needs to be done within 12 months. What would be the harm in making it within 6 months? And the only reason I
That's right,
say,
you know, you're
why,
mad.
yeah, you're mad or there's an issue, or I mean,
Thing
you're not gonna
there, I
come-
think it's
Yeah.
in statute.
is it?
There's a statute
Okay,
somewhere
okay.
Yeah.
That defines.
And that's a typical, legal can correct me if I'm wrong, but usually there is a limit for most any kind of complaint, not just us, but it's
Sure.
usually within 12 months.
Okay, so 12 months is just the standard? Okay.
Side it's 3 years.
Just seems odd to have that hanging over your head
Right.
or them waiting to, whether it be financially, they suddenly decide that that's an out or, I realize we're not illegal.
We had one in our last meeting that the complaint was received in our office one day
Yeah.
before the 1 year.
Mhm.
One thing I could see being valid a year later would be if a complication directly arose from it.
Oh, I
So,
see.
like,
I see.
say there was an orthopedic procedure and it was done inappropriately and something happened 8 months later that was directly related to the inappropriateness of that orthopedic
Yeah,
procedure. I could see that.
I had one that
Yeah.
one of my team left a lap sponge in a dog after a
Yeah.
GED surgery in the middle of the night. And then the dog went back home to DC or wherever it was from. And a year later or more, ate a foreign object and they went in to, save the dog from, its obstruction and found a lap pad that went on, and I paid the bill. I mean, I was like, well, that's the right thing to do.
Right.
What's the right thing but it was a year and a half, 2 years later. So I do see where those things could come up later on, but
Hopefully they'll be few and far between.
well,
Hopefully.
same way with us. Don't forget that.
And
Look at our medical records for 3 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is the one that I came up with for the, response. One thing that Amanda and Patrick and I had talked about, on our original letter that I found that I was been sending out complaints as, to submit the response within 2 weeks. And we discussed the other day to extend that out 30 days, and that we kind of discussed that a little bit before. I didn't know if we needed to have a motion for that or how that needed to go.
Also, the notarization of the response. I think typically they have to have it notarized.
Okay.
I don't see a need of having that notarized. That's just wasting time. The complaint itself needs to be
Right.
notarized,
Yes.
so
Yeah.
But there was
the serious.
that, again, I don't see
that-
why you would have to
yeah.
have it notarized.
Well, 90% of them, it's through a law service anyways.
Yeah.
I do like that. I mean, we're starting to see some of these veterinary responses are just sloppy. It's like they're just very half-hearted and very.
Yes, well, my thought on this was, all right, a couple of weeks, that may not be enough time, but also from what I've seen on a lot of these complaints is they're not giving us enough information to make a judgment on.
Right.
And that's not fair to them, but if you give them 30 days, that's ample opportunity to provide whatever testimony or anything that they want to defend their case. If they don't,
Yep.
then it's up to you guys to, let's view it
If
for
they don't
what's.
care about it,
For what,
then-
whatever's on paper is
Exactly.
what we're going.
And I think we could
Well,
say, oh, go ahead.
Medical records. You can do an Avamark medical record without the notes, or you can have, so I wonder if it needs to say complete medical records, including notes. Because we've seen the difference.
Yes. We don't want
It's
an
a different
invoice
button
with
that you
blood work
push.
on it.
To include, because that's the behind the scene notes, surgical aspects and all the doctor's notes are included in there.
Should we say patient medical records including notes? I don't know, including medical notes. Like be as specific as possible. Or
It
include,
may need to say that.
yeah, so we could
because
say,
you can have record from the printout from Cornerstone or Avamark,
I kind of put that in the submission one,
submission, okay,
so I can just move that one over
Okay.
to that too.
including medical notes,
the hard part is the submission, the owner only has what they have,
right?
so
Yeah.
they don't.
And that's
have
their
access.
version.
Like, they,
Mhm.
thing they have, and it feels very underdone.
Mhm.
It should be on the veterinarian to provide all the things. So like we could say like all patient medical records, including billing statements, radiographs, controlled substance logs, if applicable, pictures, and medical notes.
Medical notes.
And put a note in there, the more information you can provide us, the better we can evaluate this case. You know. Right, exactly. I mean,
I can make a minor suggestion, including but not limited to.
That,
Oh, I like that.
that's,
Because
Just
there's
let's say that. You read the
inconsistency,
mind.
if you say complete and then outline what it is,
Because
there's
you're
everything, why we
limiting-
need to provide
Yeah,
that,
so
so.
you can give us more.
If it's a handwritten record, it's all,
Yeah.
I mean. And there's no way of validating if there's been alterations.
Right. Which we've seen, we've had cases like that,
Mhm.
different written records.
Different pen colors.
Yeah,
Seemed to me, I would
Hey.
want the information as I could, because
one with.
if I'm not, then it looks suspicious.
Right.
You would
So-
think.
One other thing while you're looking at the complaint. On the form, when it talks about the numbers, the complaint numbers out of the Practice Act. And then if you do number 11, it's the one that's unprofessional conduct. It goes A through P. But in the rule, it's numbered. It's not A through P, it's 1 through 16 or whatever. Yeah, 1 through 16. That got me boogered up last night, so that probably needs to be looked at.
No, unprofessional conduct is number 19, and then underneath of it is A, B, C, D.
Yeah.
I can go back and look at both of them. See if
It's
we need to-
it's weird because you've got to go to Practice Act and it's 11, and then when you go to the rules, it's number 19 is professional conduct, but then under 19 it's A, B, C, D.
Well,
It's
if
weird.
you, in the Practice Act. Oh, no, I'm sorry. In the rule, I just pulled up, it's on the website. It's 1 through 16, I believe.
I printed mine off a long time ago, so I know. Mine are A's, mine are letters.
Is yours
Yeah.
17 CAR 1-111?
It doesn't have any numbers.
Okay.
there may be a difference
Uh,
in. We moved to that car method, the Code of Arkansas Regulations, and they did move some things around, so the version that y'all are looking at right now is an older version versus the car. So Bill,
Oh.
we need to look into that and see if we did change up how we address that numbering or lettering system.
Okay.
Yeah, if we can.
It's not consistent with the current complaint
Mm.
form.
Looking online right now, right?
Yeah.
I bet it's the difference between the old version of the rules versus the Code of Arkansas Regulations.
The other thing we had talked about was removing that mark only one, because nobody ever listens
Yeah.
to it anyways.
And we
Uh,
don't have to follow what they say anyway.
Exactly, and I don't want 11 pieces of paper with one check mark on each one as a complaint. Like, I'd rather just see them all on one. Personally.
Yes.
Check any applicable.
Checking it
Yeah.
out.
Or most applicable, so they don't think more is better.
Yeah.
But the next thing that I've had some CEs that have been, they've asked that we approve, and it'll be my first round with the CEs that I've added to the list. So, if I didn't do it correctly, please instruct me how to. But the ones that are below the yellow line that are bolded here, there's one, I just put nutrition on that. I think it was feline nutrition or something.
Mine was for a nutrition conference in Texas that also offers virtual live CE.
Yeah.
And I had reached out to Tom to include the request for that.
Yeah. That's the one here with Angela, Rollins and, Mary Ann Murphy.
Yeah.
So,
It's Introvet CE. They do have race approval. It's in San Antonio, Texas, November 15th through 16th. And it's both in person and then, like I said, live CE. And so I was requesting for approval to include that as a CE. I feel like I saw something where if it was race approved, it was automatically included, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Race approved.
Okay, I figured I'd
You're
be better
correct.
safe.
If
Okay.
it's race approved, it's automatically approved.
Okay, cool. I wanted to make sure I wasn't, yeah.
and I think that's the way that the one that Dr. Throne sent as well was.
It's not race approved, but it's approved by a specialty board.
Okay. And that was the Delmarva Poultry Health Meeting.
Yes.
She'd asked that that be approved. And then Dr. Moffett had sent me two. Dr. Moffett, are those are just PowerPoints, or is she gonna be given that? She gonna be presenting that at a conference, or how is that? I couldn't understand how it was gonna be laid out.
Dr. Columbus, normally, one of those you have Dr. Bullock and the other one you have Dr. Columbus. Her name's changed to Columbus. But she's going to be typically presenting those live to basically anyone who wants to come to their place of business and hear those. I think they have opened them up to other veterinarians and vet techs. It's mostly for their own staff. She is a boarded criticalist, and so she does that as kind of an option for people in the area. It's not very advertised, but I think it is available to anyone who wants to show up.
Where is that, Josh?
It's at Abe's.
Okay.
She's been doing these for about a year now. We've approved some in the past that they've done on other topics.
Okay, so I didn't know if you guys need to vote on those, or what we wanted to do.
Just make
We
them
voted
normal, you
initially,
approve.
and then we decided not to for a while.
What's that?
Did we decide that we didn't have to vote on these?
Yeah.
I think we decided it was an administrative matter, and as long as staff approved.
Okay. Back in the old business there. Yes,
Well, did we set a meeting date?
not yet.
Okay.
I was gonna finish our old business
Okay.
before we get down there. Do you wanna give the update on what's going on with the developments with Dr. Zepecki's
Okay,
clinic?
yeah, I'm assuming y'all not briefed on, oh, you,
Yes.
okay, go ahead.
It's my understanding that he has passed away and suggestion that that's been filed in the court case. I believe the hearing is still scheduled for September 29th. I think.
Yes.
So I imagine on that day, the court will dismiss the hearings.
Probably wait until that date.
I have had a couple of calls about people taking over his clinic and whatnot, but there's not been anything official. What I emailed you about the other day or yesterday was, I did have a call from their clinic. And they said that I guess Hot Springs Animal Control had been called because they are still doing business as a boarding and grooming facility. And there were people that, I guess, assumed that they were still practicing. And the animal control officer had suggested they call us to just inform us about what they're doing. But the building is still being used for boarding and grooming, so we don't deal with that.
I think it's just backlash from previous complaints.
Sure.
They're
Yeah.
just- But I have spoken with a Dr. Olson from Pennsylvania, I think that's where she's from.
Yeah, New Jersey.
New Jersey, young lady, she's wanting to maybe open up that practice. We've been trying to do some assistance, but we can't really get it too involved, but I think the family wants to continue. I think they want to rent the building to her, or lease it to her along with equipment, and then she's just gonna take the practice. So I would be looking for, at some point, she's going to open up a corporate practice, so. But I think she's probably the
Yeah.
most serious at this point, though.
Yes, that's all. When I was.
The boarding and grooming facility, a separate LLC?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I
But
mean, it
it's
can be
not
tied, if she
Yeah.
gets her corporate license, I guess she can tie that to her business, but for right now, it's separate.
So all his cases are dismissed?
No, we have not done that. So at some point, we need to officially do that. But I think we probably need to wait until the court date, until that's finalized, and then once that's done, then we can open up all those complaints that we've got against him. Potentially dismiss those.
Then you would go back to the complainant or to the complaint. Send them a letter that
Yes.
he is deceased and therefore it's dismissed.
Yes. Yeah. That is another change that we've made, and I think we kind of fell behind on is following through with those complaints and making sure that they're very aware of what the situation was. So we've got some stylized letters, some templates that we're working on that will send it out to the veterinarian that's the complaints against, along with the complainants, so everybody's clear on where the case has been settled.
Yeah. Any news on the state vet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Dr. Moffett has been gracious enough to stay on as part-time or extra help, so we can fulfill those SAHO requirements that we usually have for, whether it be biologicals or outbreak situation for like AI or whatever the case may be. So he's willing to work about 20-25 hours a week to keep up with that. But other than that, we know we have 4 applicants, but we have interviewed maybe at least one of them. That's all we've gone through at this point. So
Okay.
it is an important position. We want to make sure we get the right qualified person and the person that wants to do the job as well, because it is a very, very demanding job. So we just want to make sure we got the right guy.
Thank you.
Whoever it may be.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Well, and I would just say thanks to Dr. Moffett for being willing to stay on and handle some of those things that are urgent.
He's saving us.
Quitter.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Hmm.
Next meeting, Amanda had brought up something about walking back our 3-month time frame, but I didn't really understand how.
Yeah, what we've got some new requirements in regards to notifying others at least a couple of weeks prior to a meeting. So we need to give information to the governor's office, to the secretary, at least 2 weeks in advance. And if we have a meeting a month before the board meeting, it really doesn't give staff enough time to get everything together. So we would like to try to schedule our next meetings 2 months before the next meeting, board meeting. So if we can just kind of keep that in mind when we do our schedule, the next meeting is going to be December.
October.
No, October. October 12th.
12th, yeah.
Yeah.
No, 12th is Sunday.
17th. Does that sound right?
I don't think Thursday,
Okay.
it is, fair?
Yeah, it's gonna be on Thursday.
17th,
17th,
the,
Friday.
October.
it's Friday, September 17th is what I have on my calendar for the next Board of Animal Health. Is that right?
So we would need to meet after that, of course, because we don't have enough time now. But just schedule a meeting, and I know that we'll have another meeting December, maybe that's where I get in the 12th. For the Arkansas Fair Managers Association is gonna be our next board meeting. And that's in mid-December.
So Sarah,
think
what
that
did you
one's the
say?
I've got our
September.
next Board of Animal Health meeting October 17th
Right,
Yeah.
and
at
then-
10 a.m.
And
And that's
then
at the
there's-
state fair, correct?
And then there's a December meeting at Hot Springs.
Okay, I don't have that one on my calendar. Which, do you know the date of that?
12th, I think. isn't it?
I think it may be the 12th. I think that's where I'm getting that day.
So theoretically, all that we've talked about here would go to the October meeting then for approval. So then
Well,
It
we
would be
could
the
meet,
December meeting. We
it would
would
go
have
to the
enough time.
December meeting. We'd
Yeah.
have enough time. So then we can meet in December. That would go to the next meeting out. Theoretically,
November.
because that would keep us on kind of our quarterly schedule.
Okay. I think that would work.
To meet when?
If we met like December, like beginning of December.
Mhm.
Because if we met,
Tuesday noon works great for me.
I like it.
Good for y'all.
what about
My only
December?
request is if we're gonna do December and we're already coming down to Hot Springs, if we could piggyback on that versus making 2 trips at the beginning of December to Hot Springs, Little Rock area.
Okay, let me see if I can get with fair managers and we could just, you want to do a back-to-back meeting?
Or even the day before, you know, meet on like Thursday afternoon and then I could, so those of us that are coming down, stay the night and then do fair managers meeting on Friday. Or I don't know what time the fair managers meeting it, or that, what time we'll meet on the board. If it's the afternoon, then meet that morning.
Sarah, what
then-
date are you talking about?
I think Patrick said the December meeting for the Board of Animal Health was December 12th. Is that right, Patrick?
I have to confirm that. It's not showing up on my phone for some
I
reason.
was gonna say, I didn't have it on my calendar. I just added it.
Because we're gonna be in Little Rock anyway. A couple of us are on the 11th for the Poultry
thought that-
Federation.
I thought that meeting was in, oh, I've got it in the wrong spot. I was thinking that meeting was in Northwest Arkansas.
No, it is. You're right. It's in Rogers.
I don't even have it on my calendar. Well, crap, those dates may not work then. What day is that board meeting, Bill?
The
Have you got-
12th, the 11th.
Okay, never mind.
Is the thing on the 12th, is that an all day thing?
Couple hours.
Yeah, no,
But-
it's a couple hours.
A couple of hours, like is it in the middle of the day or the beginning or the
It'll be
end?
at 2.
2, okay, it's right in the middle of the day. Cause thinking we could be like before or after that, but if it's, that would, yeah,
From your Hot Springs.
no. Um,
Hey, Bill,
Yes.
so the board retreat is in Northwest Arkansas. Is the December meeting in Little Rock or Northwest Arkansas? I can't find that email.
I've got the Poultry Federation Christmas Party plus board meeting, 3 p.m. December the 11th at the Avell Hotel in Rogers.
Oh, okay. Apparently I don't have that on my calendar. I will add it to my calendar. Thank you. Ignore what I said about meeting the day before the board meeting on the 12th.
Y'all just, let me know.
The second or the ninth?
that's what I was thinking, the 2nd or the
The
9th,
second, oh, the second.
yeah. December 2nd at noon?
Works for
Either
me.
one is good.
Where is that? In Little Rock?
Yeah, they'll be here.
Can we do it by Zoom again?
By Zoom.
Yeah, I can do it, but not in person on the 2nd.
Do I need to make a motion?
Sure.
Make it official.
Yeah.
I feel so moved to make a motion, that our next meeting will be Tuesday, December 2nd at noon, either in person or via Zoom, and the location will be in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Second,
Second it.
And I will send you all a link to that code of Arkansas regulations.
Yes.
And then all the information is the same. It's just some of the organization.
Notated different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
Some of the things have been kind of rearranged, so. And I apologize for that. I thought you are aware of that, but we'll get you straight.
Perfect.
so is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Any discussion?
That's Rick.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
All opposed? You guys have a great week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.